I
Yeah.
requested the management not to play him. I don't think he's got it.
You'd be
I think
140 for 7 or 8, it's okay, but 140 for 4, like, what the hell are you doing? Is Virat Kohli a poor captain?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new Silly Point episode. Obviously, the IPL is in full flow. Each team has now played their first game. So today, Zayed and me are going to discuss the key talking points, from the IPL, what's happened so far, what might be important trends going forward. So we're just going to kick off straight away with one of the most controversial things, MS Dhoni and where he should bat for CSK and what his captaincy tactics are. There's been so much discussion on that, and I know that Zahid has got some very strong opinions similar to those echoed by Gautam Gambhir. So let's get right into it, Zahid. What do you think of Dhoni's batting position and his captaincy?
Hi everyone. Well, first of all, you said everyone's played one game. I think some of them have
Yeah.
actually played 3. Just for people's knowledge, this is being recorded just after the KKR Sunrisers game. So anything after that result, if anything happens, contrary to what we say today, then it's not our fault. Back to Dhoni and his captaincy. I mean, look, there's two things, right? Dhoni, the batsman, I'm very surprised that he's coming in so low. Number 7, obviously, everyone has been questioning it, linking it to his jersey number. Is that why he's batting at number 7? And number 6, he batted number 6 yesterday, but it was too little too late. I mean, he came in when they needed 17 4 overs.
Yeah.
I quite frankly, I'm completely baffled, especially in the last 2 games when Ambati Rayudu has been unfit.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of bat? He should bat at 4, and they have good firepower. They have Sam Curran, they have Jadeja, they have Kedar Jadhav who can, finish off a game. They can hit big. And Dhoni, who does take a bit of time, and we saw that in the Rajasthan game where he came right at the end when it didn't really matter. He hit 3 sixes.
Yeah, true.
So I'm surprised. I really do not have an explanation as to why he's coming in so low.
So my 2 bits on this is he should be batting 4-5 because precisely right. He takes some time to settle in.
Yeah.
He made the comment that he was rusty. He hadn't played much cricket since the semi-final loss in 2019 in the World Cup. So that's a big layoff, right?
Yeah.
So in order to get some game time, you should be batting higher up the order, not lower down the order.
Exactly.
So I don't understand the thinking. I have no idea what they're thinking. So yeah, in my opinion, he should be batting 4-5, take his time, and then he can go boom boom at the end, which he can.
Look, I agree. I mean, look, I am a big Dhoni fan, as you would have seen in our Dhoni captaincy episode, and
so am I.
Like I know, at the risk of enraging some of our followers and fans, but it's been very disappointing to see. And him giving lame excuses like I'm not in rhythm and this and that. I mean, nobody is. No one has played for 6 months except for Sam Curran in that team, right? Who's shown, who's actually probably been their best player.
Yeah.
And Josh Hazelwood.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say the same for Faf, who's had a decent start. I mean, he's batted slowly in the beginning, but he's picked up.
Yeah.
Shane Watson has been hit and miss. Murli Vijay has been hit and miss. Well, more miss than hit.
But they always have been hit and miss. Watson and Vijay, over the last couple of years in the IPL, they have been hit and miss.
Exactly. So Dhoni, for him to say that, because I'm not in rhythm, I'm going to come low down. It's the same for Jadeja. It's the same for Jadhav. So I don't really get that point.
True. And I mean, all these excuses are pointless. I mean, everyone had the same amount of time to prepare,
exactly.
Right? What preparation were you doing?
What preparation did KL Rahul have? How is he in rhythm?
KL Rahul had admitted that he was having nightmares.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure, whether he'll be able to play those beautiful cover drives that he plays.
Exactly.
And then he turns around, he takes his time, he opens the batting, takes his time, and then he scores a brilliant freaking 100.
Exactly. So it's really surprising to see. And then his captaincy, I think his hands are a bit tired. Obviously, the squad is missing probably their best Indian batsman. Well, the top 2 Indian batsmen, Raidu and Raina, obviously.
Yeah.
Dwayne Bravo is injured, so that's another issue for them. So they are a bit depleted, and it's tough for them to find that balance, given that they have Watson and Faf at the top of the order. They've gone with Sam Curran as the all-rounder.
Yeah.
And then Josh Hazelwood, who's done very well. So they haven't really found a way to fit in, their highest wicket-taking bowler, Imran Tahir. So they're struggling with that.
Yeah.
Piyush Chawla has struggled. Jadeja has struggled. So it's tough.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
mean, personally, like Dhoni's captaincy, is fine, right? But I just feel like he needs to bat 4-5, irrespective of the situation. That's
Yeah,
my opinion. And once that starts to happen, you can probably bat Kedar Jadhav or Karan at 6,
yeah,
depending on the situation, right? They can
exactly.
go bang bang from ball one,
Yeah,
right? That's what I'm saying. Role definition is very important.
yeah,
Each player needs to know what their role in the team is. You
yeah,
can't have Kedar Jadhav, blocking the ball. You just tell him go out there
yeah,
and hit the ball.
yeah.
That's it.
I think
Which is
the
what
yeah,
which is what they did with Sam Curran in the last couple of games, right? They gave
yeah,
him the license to go out and play,
yeah.
play big shots, be the pinch hitter.
I know that diehard Dhoni fans have had these theories going around that he's planning for the end of the tournament and he's not going all in now and he's waiting for the players to come together and this and that. But at the end of the
But
day, I mean,
that's how you
why
lose
would
tournaments.
yeah,
That's how you lose tournaments. Instead of doing all this work, behind the scenes, and a month
yeah,
before the tournament, when you're actually training, you
yeah,
need to have these plans in advance.
yeah,
You need to have a plan A, B, C, D in advance.
yeah.
You
I
can't do
agree.
that when you're in a tournament,
Yeah,
as competitive as the IPL,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, it's okay, we can lose the first 3-4 games and
Yeah, I
go.
think Harsha Bogle tweeted perfectly. He said, um, "CSK are like they're like a passenger who spent too much time packing their luggage and now they're late for the train.
Yeah,
So too much
that's a good
preparation,
one.
and that's how they've like planned their chases. I mean, okay, you can argue the 200 chase is a bit out of their reach, and that's fair. But chasing 175, I think it was. I mean, that approach against Delhi was bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean,
For me, what was more infuriating was the chase against Rajasthan, because they got to 200. They were
yeah,
16 runs away. So basically, Dhoni just had to move that last over hitting,
yeah,
an over or 2 overs earlier. That's it.
yeah,
That was the difference,
yeah,
right? At that point, he could have hit a couple of sixes and got out. They would have still got to 200, but at
yeah,
least he would have given the team a chance,
yeah,
right? Against Delhi. So I think that you have to just doff your hat off to Shreyas Iyer and his captaincy and the bowling attack that Delhi have. I
yeah,
mean, Andrich Nokia, oh my God,
yeah,
brilliant. Kagiso Rabada and Andrich Nokia, best bowling attack. I mean, they were bowling amazing short balls to Dhoni at 140 clicks. I think anyone would struggle against that kind of
yeah,
bowling, forget Dhoni. And coming to another talking point that we had
yeah,
is, is is pace going to be the key weapon this IPL? And given how the matches have gone so far, I think
yeah.
the team that has the best pace bowling attack might have a very good chance to win this IPL.
Yeah, I think, well, especially in the beginning, the first few games, and we've seen that. I think once because there are only three grounds and pitches will be reused, so
Yeah,
the spinners will come into it, and even now like quality spin like Yuzi Chahal they've performed reasonably well.
yeah,
Narayan has been pretty decent also, but some of them have struggled like Piyush Chawla.
yeah.
But
Jadeja.
Jadeja
So
exactly.
just for our viewers to remind them, Jadeja is the only spin bowler in the IPL to go for 40 runs more 3 consecutive times.
Yeah.
So
So
that's pretty
there you
cool.
go. But then Akshay Patel bowled really well. But yeah, I think in terms of just pace bowling, I think yes, because I think the big boundaries have helped obviously because you can bowl those slower balls and cutters and there's been lots
Yeah,
of catches or at least catch attempts and we'll come to that and at the boundary.
yeah,
But also there has been some pace in the wickets. The way the bowlers have used the short ball has been pretty good.
yeah.
And it's been really good to see. I mean, with the exception of Dale Steyn, unfortunately, Pat Cummins came back really well today.
Amazing comeback by Pat Cummins. And this is the thing, right? In the previous game, both Pat Cummins and Owen Morgan had just finished their quarantine period at
Yeah,
like 3:30, and they were playing a game an hour later. So I
yeah,
would I would forgive that first
yeah,
game for them.
yeah,
The poor performance by KKR, and today was much better.
yeah,
Amazing comeback.
yeah. I think when you going back to fast bowling, I think there's two things. Right, one is how well the captains have also used their fast bowling. Like Rabada, I think was used perfectly again in both games
Yeah,
for Delhi.
yeah.
I'm really impressed with Sheldon Cottrell. He's been fantastic
He's
for Punjab.
yeah.
Obviously, Shami,
Shami.
Bumrah, yeah,
Yeah.
Shami, Bumrah. Everyone knows, they are world class.
Basically, the truth of the matter is all the teams with you know international quality pace bowlers and fast bowlers. So you've got Delhi, You've got Kings 11. You've got Rajasthan with Archer. I'm just going to call
Archer.
Archer. Archer was really good in
Yeah.
that game against CSK. Sharjah is a very small ground,
Yeah.
and it's easy to go for runs with the pace
Yeah.
that he had, but he kept it down.
Yeah.
So again, teams with quality international pace
Yeah.
bowlers, I think will do well, and obviously teams with good spinners as well. Going, looking down the line, the second half of the tournament. Again, Delhi comes straight to mind with Ashwin, Ashkar Patel, and Amit Mishra.
Yeah.
They seem to have a very complete attack.
Even they also have Ishant Sharma to come back.
True.
So they have a lot of variety and options, and that is probably the way to go. Where you start off with the fast bowlers, and
Yeah.
as the tournament progresses, then you probably rely more on the spinners. And then with the long boundaries, it's obviously going to be tough
Yeah.
to play to play the spinners. But I mean, the last point I'd make on the fast bowling front is, of course, as we mentioned in our RCB preview, your favorite Umesh Yadav, how awesome he has been. is he?
I
Is he?
I fail to understand how he got picked first of all for the first game
Yeah.
that RCB
Yeah.
played,
Before
and then
you,
he got
before
picked
you,
for the second.
before you carry on, I mean, hats off to someone like Nadeep Saini, who's been very impressive with his pace, especially in
Yeah,
the first game.
true.
But
Yeah,
yeah, carry on to with the Umesh.
yeah. No, I've already said my piece. I
Yeah.
requested the management not to play him. I don't think he's got it. He's got what it takes to be a T20 bowler. Don't get me wrong, he's a very good test match bowler. He's perfect to have as a very, very good replacement to the first choice players.
Yeah.
But yeah, T20, no way, man, no way. And okay, fine, people talk about his power play bowling and how good he has been in the past, but come on, two matches,
Yeah.
he's been so expensive, over 10 runs and over in both games. He has to go. He has to
I
go.
agree.
So I think the other thing we'd like to discuss is why do you think teams are winning the toss and choosing to bowl first? They're
It's a
choosing to
fashion.
chase.
It's a fashion. I was
It,
actually
it is a
there was
it
a
is a
stat.
fashion in
Yeah,
T20.
I think one of the commentators quoted a stat, and in all T20 games in the history of cricket, I think 80% or 83% of the time,
Yeah,
the team that has won the toss has elected to field first.
right.
And I think obviously because they're all evening games, so there's a lot of questions around the due factor and this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I think it's a case of it being in fashion, but the way the games have panned out, I mean, you can't really blame the teams batting first, playing well. At the end of the day, in a T20 game, it's not doesn't make that much of a difference. If you
I
just play
agree.
better cricket,
Yeah,
does that 1 hour really make a big difference in the due or whatever? It's I don't know. Maybe it's a psychological thing, and
yeah.
that's how it's happened in India, where we've had big totals being chased down and this and that.
I think so. I think there are two things here. Obviously, you can't compare the pitches in Dubai and India, right?
Yeah,
India, there are certain wickets. So like the Wankhede, for example, or the Chinnaswamy, where a score of 200 is very easily
yeah,
chaseable because of the
exactly.
dew and because of how small the ground is, right?
Yeah,
Um, but then when you come to Dubai and UAE especially, both those are much, much bigger grounds.
yeah,
And the wickets have been quite two-paced,
yeah,
right? So sometimes the ball will skid through and sometimes it's going to come off very slowly. So you have to take that into account. All right, Sharjah, you can say, is a smallish ground and it's possible to chase something like 200 there,
yeah,
right? So I would be very careful with, just winning the toss and saying, right, I'm gonna
exactly.
bowl first. And the other thing is you need to have the personnel, you need to have the
Yeah,
right bowling attack, right? So a team
exactly.
like Chennai, they shouldn't go down the route of bowling first. They don't have a good bowling attack. They've
Yeah,
got five options.
exactly. So that's the problem, right? You need to look at what your strength is. Okay, today, Sunrisers was the first team actually wanted to decide to bat first. Maybe they wanted to go against the trend, but again, I was really surprised by their approach to batting. I mean, they
Yeah.
seem content with 140. They never really went for it. I mean, if 140 for four is a really weird score in T20 in nowadays. You'd be
I think
140 for 7 or 8, it's okay, but 140 for four, like what the hell are you doing?
I think they took the stats too seriously.
Yeah,
They were like, oh, we're going to bat first, and if we get 150, which is a pass score, we'll defend it with the bowling attack we have. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I agree. You've got to look at what your strengths are,
yeah, exactly.
and make a decision based on that,
I think yeah, the old school adage of win toss bat first. That's that
and
needs
put
to
runs
come
on the
back.
board. put
Exactly.
runs on the board. So yeah, um, cool. And then I think the other thing that really personally that impacted me, I was very angry seeing that, is the one run shot
Oh yeah.
that Kings 11 had. I mean, that was ridiculous. The bat was in. Chris Jordan had
Yeah.
slid the bat inside the crease. How was that not caught by technology and not conveyed to the
Yeah.
on-field umpire? I mean, you've got this technology. You've got this silver bullet. Just bite it and be done with it. It's
I.
ridiculous.
It's really baffling. I mean, they have technology of everything. There's a break in play. You can literally just check within 30 seconds and you'll know the answer. At the end of the day, the key thing is not the process, how it's done. The most important thing is that the decision needs to be right.
I agree.
I think it happened it was a Rajasthan Chennai game where I think it was Tom Curran who edged a ball, who apparently didn't hit a ball, was given out caught behind.
Yeah,
They'd lost their review, but the umpire still reviewed it somehow. I don't know how. It
exactly.
was it
No,
was it was questionable, the process, but at the end of the day, the right decision was made, and that's all
it
that matters.
they showed the replay of the
Yeah,
ball on the big screen, and
yeah,
then the umpire saw it and they called Tom Curran back.
yeah,
So, however you come to the decision, as long
yeah,
as the right one is made, I don't care
yeah.
personally. So I think
Exactly.
technology, you have it, use it.
Yeah,
Coming to Kings 11,
yeah,
um, one of the things that I've personally noticed throughout the tournament is the fact that if a batsman gets a start,
yeah,
he has to carry on. He has to
yeah,
carry through. He has to bat through. It's very difficult for a batsman coming in, for a new batsman to just go bang bang. No one has done it so far,
yeah,
right? Very few batsmen have been able to, have a strike rate of over 200 in the first 5-10 balls. No, no Andre Russell, no Pat Cummins, who scored 33 of 12. He also started slowly
yeah,
and then hit Bumrah after playing a couple of balls. No one has been able to do it,
yeah.
right?
No one's gone in
So
from ball one and smashed it. Yeah,
exactly. So your batsman that's set, so someone like KL Rahul did, he set himself up
yeah,
and then towards the end he went bang, bang, bang. Mayank Agarwal did that in the game against Delhi.
yeah.
Um,
Sanju
he
Samson. I
Sanju
think
Samson,
yes. Yeah,
yeah, he also played what 10 balls before he started,
yeah,
going for it. Um, the other good example is Rishabh Pant and Shreyas Iyer in the
yeah,
game against Chennai, right? They didn't go bang bang from ball one, even though that's what you'd expect from Pant, right? They
yeah.
took their time and they
Prithvi Shaw in the same game.
Prithvi Shaw in the same game, exactly. So, you have to have batsmen, or you have
Yeah,
to, you know, tell batsmen who can play that role, right?
yeah,
You play 10 balls or 20 balls,
yeah.
score 20 runs, and then after that,
But there's a limit to that, right? That approach. You can't be like what CSK did or what someone like Saha did
obviously,
today, where you're 25 of 25 and then the game has gone
yeah,
away from you.
yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
okay to have that start, but you just need to find that balance where you can accelerate into that next gear.
exactly. So, like I said, you have to pick the batsmen. Like KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal are the perfect batsmen to
Yeah,
be able to do that,
yeah,
right? Faf du Plessis, another good batsman to do that,
yeah. And of
right?
course, how can we forget Rohit, Hitman Sharma?
Yeah, yeah. Rohit Hitman Sharma. It's so easy for him to play out 20 deliveries. Once he gets set, we know what he can do
Yeah,
next,
yeah,
right? So I think that's another key thing that teams should be aware of, and make sure their players that can
yeah.
perform that role are well aware. This is your role, do it.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah, cool. I think you already mentioned one, so we can come back to it. Catching has been pretty poor.
Oh my God. I mean, I
Easy
know
catches dropped.
I know people will say this excuse, and Dhoni said in his post-match conference yesterday about the ring of fire in the Dubai stadium and how
Yeah,
that's had an issue. But these are international standard players. I mean, okay, I understand if some of the domestic players have been dropping chances, but I mean, you play games in all grounds of all sizes and shapes. I mean,
yeah.
Virat Kohli, Hetmeyer,
Great Maya.
Stain, they've all dropped
Yeah,
catches, right? And it's
yeah.
it's really really weird to see. I mean, maybe it's down to again that lack of being in the game
Yeah.
consistently and
I think
rustiness.
there is an element of rustiness there. I mean, what I'd like to say is we should all give the players some time. They're
Yeah,
human after all. They're not machines. They've just come off a 6 month period where they haven't played any cricket. So I would say that yes, let's give them some leeway. Let's allow them some time to get into it, and hopefully the second half of the tournament we'll see some brilliant fielding, brilliant catches. We've already seen some good ones from Faf, for example.
yeah,
He took a brilliant catch of Hardik Pandya and Saurabh Tiwari in the first game.
Yeah.
So yeah, some brilliant catches there, some very, very poor catches, some catches going down, poor efforts. So I think we just need to give them some time, and maybe from the next week onwards we'll see an improvement, because you have to give them some time. This time they don't even have an excuse of, oh, there was so much pressure, there was such a large crowd, we
Exactly.
were
Yeah.
chanting. You can't do all of that. It's simple. There's no one behind you. All you have to do is focus on the ball. So I do agree that,
Yeah.
especially in Dubai,
Yeah.
it could be that there's a depth perception issue. Players aren't
Yeah.
quite sure whether they need to be a yard ahead or a
Yeah.
yard behind. They can't judge the trajectory of the ball. I remember, was it maybe in Dubai, and this was maybe what, 2012, 14, Saeed Ajmal, the drop, was
Oh
that
yeah,
in
that
Dubai?
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where you just let it
Where
go.
he drops the catch. He's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I mean, Ajmal is not known for his fielding, right? I think the other thing
Uh,
in terms of fielding is not just the dropping of the catches, but it's actually been the misjudgment. There's been
yeah,
a few times where you've seen the fielder at the boundary come in, and the ball has gone over the head and actually gone for 4, not for
yeah,
6.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah,
just haven't either understood the dimensions of the ground. So
yeah,
where you need to you judge the speed of the ball, like you said, judge the depth.
yeah.
So it's a mix of, I guess, poor skills and rustiness and judgment, which again will come with time. But
Yeah,
I hope it does, because yeah, this isn't really the kind of quality of feeling that we've seen in the IPL.
true. Um, and then I think the other two things I want to discuss was, who do you think is currently the best bowler in the IPL and the best batsman?
So far from what we've seen,
Well, I'm not only talking about so far from what we've seen. I'm talking about, let's say, over the last 2 years, 3 years, including what we've seen now.
I mean, recent bias is I have to say, well, KL Rahul, obviously fantastic.
I'm
If
thinking along the same lines. I mean, I've got stats to back it up, right?
Yeah,
I've got stats to back it up. So KL Rahul has just become the fastest Indian to score 2,000 IPL runs,
yeah,
and he's also now had the highest score by an Indian in the IPL. So that for me is, and
yeah,
he's only played since what,
yeah,
2015 or 2016. He's played regularly since then.
yeah.
So in the last 4 years, he's really taken off. So I
Yeah,
don't think anyone better.
I would have loved to say Rohit Sharma, but his IPL stats are pretty average, to be honest.
They've
So
nose dipped in the last 2 or 3 years,
um,
but he's more than made up for it with his captaincy
exactly.
and
So you
Mumbai
have to
winning
find that
titles. So
balance in the bowling. Again, recent bias, but I mean, it's between Bumrah and Rabada. Uh,
yeah, if you look at stats purely, then Rabada's yards ahead.
yeah,
Like, Rabada was one of the highest wicket takers in the last IPL. He's doing it again. I think
yeah,
he's broken the record for most consecutive matches where he's taken at least 2 wickets.
yeah,
Like, it's very difficult to get like 2 wickets in every T20 game,
yeah.
given the fickle nature, but he's done that. And his super over records are amazing. Nine
Yeah.
balls, 9 runs, and three
Oh
wickets.
yes, the super over king.
Incredible. So, I can't look beyond Rabada at the moment. Bumrah, obviously, we all
Yeah,
know what he can do.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I think obviously his stats might be a little skewed by those sixes that Cummins hit, but you have to remember the fact that in the previous over he got both Russell and Morgan out
I
in the same
agree.
over,
Yeah, I
which
agree.
sealed the game for them, right? So you can't overlook that fact. Okay, when the game was pretty much lost, a one for
Yeah,
Mumbai,
yeah,
then he got hit for 4 sixes, but you still have to recognize that. I
yeah.
think for me, when it comes to the crunch moments, I think Bumrah is still the go-to guy. Yeah, special mention to Mohammad Shami, who's been phenomenal so far.
Agreed.
Again, very underrated. I think he is probably right up there, world class.
Yeah,
And
true.
then it's been good to see, someone like Nadeep Saini, some of the younger Indian bowlers who overall haven't been that good so far. I mean, I guess the one point I'd also like to discuss is the performance of the young Indian players. It's been very hit and miss. Obviously, Shubman Gill played fantastically well.
Shaw
Uh,
did well in the previous game.
Shaw did well. Dave
Pant,
did Padikkal had a decent start, but then he had a bad second game.
yeah.
Bishnoi was good.
Bishnoi has been good across both
Yeah,
games so far. So he's been really, really good. Looks
yeah,
like a very good bowler to me.
yeah. But some of the others, obviously, Jaiswal just had one game, so I
Yeah,
guess
hard to say.
a bit of rustiness. Tyagi hasn't played yet. But looking forward to seeing them. Like I mentioned in one of our previous episodes.
Yeah,
So far, it's been hit and miss, which is what you'd expect with
Yeah,
young
with young
players.
players. Yeah, I mean Shivam Mavi and Kamlesh Nagarkoti played today
Yeah,
for KKR. So they bowled 2 overs each today. They looked decent, but again, I guess they
yeah,
need some match time. They need some
yeah,
experience going in, and I'm sure they'll get better.
yeah, yeah. No, really looking forward to them. But hopefully, they do improve and
Yeah.
make a bigger contribution.
And the last topic to discuss, again, a controversial one. We started with a controversial topic. We're ending with a controversial one. RCB, man, they're a freaking dilemma.
Is
I
is Virat Kohli a poor captain?
In my opinion, and I have on Silly Point personally, when I'm chatting to other people about cricket and about Indian cricket in particular, I've always maintained that Virat Kohli is not a good captain when it comes to limited overs, when it comes to ODIs and T20s. He's an amazing test captain, right? But when it comes to T20s and ODIs, he mm, he's very mechanical. I feel he
Yeah,
doesn't quite do things on gut feel,
yeah,
like Rohit, Shreyas Iyer. They're very big on matchups and data. They've
yeah,
got plan A, B, C, D in their heads, and so they know what they have to do. Dhoni is very instinctive,
yeah,
right? So Dhoni will go on gut feel. Okay, I think this guy's bowling well. I'll give him 4 overs on the trot. So that
yeah.
kind of thing. He's just not got a clear cut, mantra. And I feel like I don't know, the players don't respond well to Kohli. That's my
Uh,
opinion. At least
yeah,
in the IPL, that's the case. Maybe it's different in the in T20s and ODIs for India. I mean, at
yeah,
the end of the day, Kohli had a pretty decent team that he inherited from Dhoni.
yeah. I disagree with that. I mean, they've had one bad game and one good game, and I would actually argue the reason why they actually won that game was because of Kohli's captaincy, and he was flexible. He brought Chahal back for a crucial over. He got 2 wickets in that over,
Yeah,
which changed the game around. Okay, he dropped a couple of catches which cost them the match in the previous game.
yeah,
But that game, everyone has bad days.
true. I,
You
I
people will point to the fact that he's not won any ICC trophies and this and that. I mean, he's only had the chance to captain two, and they reached the final and one and the semi-final in the other.
yeah. No, that's
So
fair. I'm not, I'm not saying that, oh, he's a very poor captain.
yeah,
He's not in the Sarfraz Ahmed mold, in my opinion.
dude,
He's
Sarfraz Ahmed has more international trophies than Kohli. So
That's
let's
true.
not go there.
No, but just based on what I'm seeing,
Yeah,
and I also think, man, the squad selection, right?
yeah,
It's no different from the past. It's exactly the same. They are very top heavy,
yeah.
right? They're very top heavy, and they make some weird decisions. Playing Umesh Yadav, why?
Yeah, I think the way he's handled Umesh Yadav has been a bit surprising. He should have stopped him from bowling or kind of, not bowled his full quota in both games. I agree with that. That's the one big mistake he's made. But with the batting order, I think that's something that, it's not just Kohli. I think that's the whole management team decision.
But this is what
Um,
I'm saying. Year after year, they get a new management team, right?
but,
And year after year, it's the same issue,
I'll
in
be
my
I'll be
opinion.
honest with you, with the exception of probably KKR, who have like Russell and Morgan. Every other team is like that. Um, they are very top heavy.
Mm,
We mentioned CSK, who've got two foreign, players. Sunrisers, very top heavy.
Same issue. I mean, for
RCB are the
me,
same.
yeah, but no, for me, Sunrisers and RCB consistently over the last 5, 6, 8 years, 10 years even. I mean, actually, Sunrisers no, Sunrisers only over the last 5 years. RCB over the last 10 years. The same issues. Not enough good death bowlers, right?
Yeah,
Poor player selection, right?
yeah,
So, for example, Moeen Ali, right?
yeah.
What has Moeen Ali done wrong,
Well, he's done a
right?
lot wrong in the last recently.
At least in terms of the IPL,
Yeah,
right? In the previous IPL, he was one of RCB's top run scorers. Like, what more does he have to do to get into the squad,
yeah,
right? Fine, maybe Chris Morris is injured, right?
yeah.
And you pick Dale Steyn. In my opinion, picking Dale Steyn, mm, I would have actually gone with Zampa. I don't care if you
Yeah,
if
but they have a leg spinner, right? So
it's okay. It doesn't matter. Imagine Chahal and Zampa bowling in tandem. A good bowler is a good bowler.
yeah, that's true.
No, I'm not saying play three leg spinners like Rajasthan might have done once upon a time, because they have 4 5 leg spinners in their squad. But they also played two spinners, right?
Yeah,
They
but
played
yeah,
and they played Shreyas
yes,
Gopal and
but
worked well.
it worked well, right? They got
Exactly.
Watson, they got Sam Curran.
Yeah.
Um,
If they want to take a punt, the RCB management want to take a punt, you take a punt on someone like Adam Zampa, who's got some form behind
but
him.
I wouldn't, go as far as blaming Kohli's captaincy for everything.
No, no, I'm not blaming Kohli's captaincy, but at the end of the day, the only consistent for RCB, the only consistent thing for RCB is Kohli being captain, right?
Yeah,
Management has changed almost every year,
and AB de Villiers.
and AB de Villiers has been consistent. So maybe it's these guys. I don't know. It's hard to say, but in my eyes, I see the same thing happening year after year.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but I still back them. I had them as winners in my prediction. I have Virat Kohli here on my wall as my supporter, so I still support him and his team, and I still think that they'll go all the way. So
Let's see how
despite
that
what
pans
despite
out.
what Sunil Gavaskar thinks, I think Virat Kohli is still a great batsman.
No doubt, no one is doubting that. I'm sure even Sunil Gavaskar doesn't doubt that Virat Kohli is one of the greatest batsmen ever to play the game.
And finally, let's just catch up on our predictions that we did in our spreadsheet. You can still check out in the link below what our predictions are, and what if you'd like to participate. Also, now you'll have a good insight of how the IPL is going to go. G, obviously, some predictions seem to be working well for you, like KL Rahul having the highest individual score and the
Yes,
fastest 100. There's a good chance that record might not be broken anymore.
I don't think so. I think I've nailed those two questions.
Yeah, I think 132 is going to be tough for anyone to break. Are you still going to stick with your? I obviously gave my pitch with for RCB winning. Do you still stick with KKR winning it?
Hmm. I think it's going to be one of KKR or Delhi.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of KKR or Delhi. That's my opinion. Both of them have got fantastic teams, very good balance across both teams. So yeah, those are the two teams I'd look out for.
And you obviously had CSK in the top four. Would you stick with that?
I think that's still possible. Dhoni has.
Anything's possible,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. I'm happy with that because those were my four teams, right? Mumbai, CSK, and then
yeah,
KKR and Delhi.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I had CSK at the bottom, so I stick
yeah,
with that. You actually had Rajasthan as the team finishing
as the
bottom, right?
bottom, still possible. It's only been one game.
To they scored 216 without Joss Butler. So
That doesn't mean anything.
of course it does. But and then the last one I'd say is the MVP. I had Hitman Rohit Sharma. I still stick to that. I think he has had one very good innings. I think he'll carry on doing it. He'll have a
Yeah.
couple of big ones. And if anyone who can threaten KL Rahul's record, it is him. And he
Yeah.
might. You had
Yeah.
Andre Russell.
Yeah, Andre Russell, I'm comfortable with. I think he still
The guy
has.
doesn't get to bat, man. What's the point? Really? He's going to be the MVP from the bench. He bowls like 1 over, 2 overs, and then doesn't bat.
But that's all the time Russell needs, right? He has such a big impact. He'll bowl 2 overs, probably bat 15 deliveries, and he can create an impact out of that.
Yeah,
That's why I think he's still going to be an MVP. He's played 2 games,
yeah,
got chance in one game, didn't do much, and then the next game he didn't get to bat. So,
yeah. Agreed.
but one question I'd like to change the answer to: highest run
Orange cap.
scorer.
Orange cap.
I said Kohli. Can I please change it to KL Rahul?
You can't have everything, KL Rahul. I have Kohli as well, actually, and I will stick to it.
Okay, fine. Let me have faith with Kohli.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to bat opening or three, and if he keeps doing that consistently, then he will.
I
I
have
think he still can.
I have said that he should bat it. He should open. His record
Yeah,
opening is great in the IPL,
yeah.
and you give your best player the maximum amount of time to spend on the crease. So
Agreed. Agreed.
cool. So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more episodes like this, and please do like, share, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments if you'd like to see any more any different kind of content. So yeah, do let us know.
And
And
let us know in the comments what you think about Virat Kohli, the captain. Is Virat Kohli a poor captain? Yes or no?
thank you.
Thank you.